right, 1 second here, guys. And it's always fun. I got to tell you, we started recording here just a second ago, but it's always fun for me to get Players Congress back in my group, man. They love you, Uncle Bob. They always talk about you. Now we got Harold and we got, Reggie here. And I asked Reggie earlier, I said, how are you and Uncle Bob related? He goes, we just came together, Well, guys, thank you for coming in, live in our group here. And like I said, if there is a malfunction, we got a recording. We're going to get it out there. And we're going to show it out to, I got over 30,000 people just in this group, and between all my groups, close to 100,000 people. And so, Harold, we're going to make you famous, besides football.
I tell you what, I appreciate that too, Jim, like I said, I get so many guys and I do so many autographs every day, and everybody trying to figure out why you're not in the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame. So I told them one day it's going to happen. I just hope it happens before I leave here.
Well, guys, it's super great to have you. If you guys could just maybe start with you, Uncle Bob, explain your NFL career a little bit, and then we could go to Reggie, and maybe Harold could finish it up. If you guys could explain a little bit about yourself, and we could go from there.
Okay, I'm Bob Grant, Uncle Bob, and for those like you guys who jumped on me a few years back saying, it sounds like Uncle Tom. It says, the heck with you. Uncle Bob is fine with me. So even our guys who are in their 90s call me Uncle Bob. I attended Wake Forest University. It was one of the, in 1963 and 1964, I was one of the 4 original players who integrated college sport in the South, long before Alabama and those guys did it. And that was at Wake Forest University. Darrell Hill was up at the University of Maryland. He transferred from the Naval Academy. And Wake Forest was the first school in '64 that had any black players, myself, Kenneth Henry, and William Smith, Dr. William Smith, now, to play any sport in the South. And that was back during segregation, apartheid times. I guess that another couple of firsts, maybe as I was the first black player drafted out of any of the major Southern universities to be drafted by the NFL and to play in the NFL. I think I'm giving my age away here now. I played with the Baltimore Colts and the Washington Redskins, was on 2 Super Bowl teams. We lost to the Jets in 1968 to an excellent Jet team, I might add. And then we came back, we missed the next year, and we came back the next year, and we beat the Dallas Cowboys, which is another fine team, in a game that we really should have lost. Dallas really should have won the game. I was, president when our retired players became a union and worked on forming that in 1968. Harold and I went into the league the same year, but Harold was 10 years older than I was. Harold was 21 and I was 11. And presently I'm chairman of the board of the retired NFL Players Congress, which represents over 20,000 retired players. We are the only one of the retired player groups that is a C corporation. We are capitalists. We work to make money. And with the money that we make, we use that money to aid and assist retired players' families, the communities that we live in, inner city schools, the elderless and the homeless in a lot of instances. And we do some work with the military. Reggie Grant is director of outreach corporate outreach here for us. And Harold Jackson is on our board of directors and would be co-chairman along with deputy chair, along with Woody Campbell out of Houston, Texas. So, that's about it. And Jim and I became friends, through Mark Fleming some years ago. And everybody knows that I am a Green Bay fan. I was really, really hoping that I would get to play for Coach Lombardi. I understand that he tried to trade for me when he went down, to Washington, but that didn't work out. Baltimore wouldn't let me go, but I ended up about a year later getting traded over to the Washington Redskins when I had a little incident with a coach, and some kind of way he ended up on the ground with a very bad nosebleed. So I got traded to Washington then. But I've worked since 1968 as an advocate for retired players and to do the best I could in the communities that we live in regards to charitable work, etc.
Awesome.
Hey,
Reggie,
I am Reggie Grant, University of Oregon Duck, quack, quack, go Ducks. Drafted and played for the New York Jets in 1978. So I'm the youngest of the bunch and I look the best, right? And Harold, why you laughing? That's because you guys still got hair. I played for the CFL a little bit, and then I went down to Miami, met Coach Hula, and he sent me home. But anyway, glad to be here today. Awesome opportunity. Love working with these guys and making an impact on people's lives in a positive way. And again, when football was football's our new t-shirt line. Look at playerscongress.com. I'm Reggie Grant, and I'll turn it over to Harold Jackson.
Thank you, Reggie.
Thanks, Red. Thanks for that great introduction. Hey, I'm Harold Jackson from a small town in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I was a Mississippi boy. Went to school at Jackson State. And the reason I went to school at Jackson State because that was the only scholarship that I was able to get at the time. When you come out of high school, and you don't weigh but 149 pounds, so it wasn't too many schools out there looking at a little guy that small. But fortunate enough, I had my head coach at Rowan High School. He left there a year before I finished my senior year, went to Jackson State as the running back coach, and he was also the baseball coach. So he was determined to get me at Jackson State. So I ended up going to Jackson State, and it was probably one of the best moves that I ever made by going to school there. And I was able to run track and play football at Jackson State. And I was fortunate enough to get drafted. I didn't have no idea that I was going to get drafted because, being a small guy like I was at the time, about 150 pounds coming out of Jackson State, I just didn't think nobody had that, going to draft me. But the Rams ended up drafting me a 12th round pick, and that was Coach George Allen. And they drafted me, and it was 1968. Bob, Bob was a little older than I was, but he got drafted in 68 also.
I was 11.
So I got drafted in 68 by the Rams, and which was, like I said, was Coach George Allen. And he had about 13, 14 guys that he drafted. And at that particular year, it was a strike. But we practiced just like he had 110 guys on the practice field every day. That's the way George Allen practiced. He made sure he got his money worth out of you. And I was fortunate enough when he cut his rookies, I was one of the 5 that he kept. No, one of the 2. He only kept 2 guys that year when he drafted. But at that time, George Allen, he did not believe in rookies. He always believed in the veterans. And so, like I said, I was fortunate enough to get on the team for the last 5 games of the season. I got my year in, and they traded me to Philadelphia Eagles the next year. So I went to Philadelphia Eagles in a Izzy Lane. Bob, you remember Izzy Lane? Running
Sure
back
do.
out of Philadelphia,
I remember all the
Pennsylvania.
older guys.
Hey, so I went to Philly, and Bob, Izzy Lane came to Los Angeles. I don't think Izzy Lane played a game, but they made that trade. And I was in Philadelphia, and that particular year, my rookie year, second year in the league, I ended up with 1,100 and some yards with 9 touchdowns, and went to the Pro Bowl. I went to the Pro Bowl my second year.
Hey,
After that, it was history.
Philly.
Go ahead.
We're okay. We're good. Just had a little feedback, but it's gone now.
Oh, okay. So I went to the Pro Bowl. I ended up going to the Pro Bowl 2 years in Philadelphia. Then in 1973, when George Allen became the head coach at L.A. Rams, they brought me back to Los Angeles for Roman Gabriel. They traded Roman Gabriel to Philadelphia, and I came back to Los Angeles. And so we ended up having some great years with the Rams, Chuck Knox. I said 5 years. We always win our division. We have about 5 or 6 games to go. The division already won. But we always get into the championship game with Dallas or Minnesota, and they would knock us out of the championship game every year, one of the two. And we never got to the Super Bowl because of those 2 teams. And that's the only thing that I look at and I regret. Many years that we played, and like I said, we had a great football team. Our worst season with the Rams that 5 years was 10-4, but we just couldn't get over the hump. And then I stayed there until '78, and so the Rams figured, hey, they're gonna trade me to New England. I went to New England, so I played in New England 4 years. Got 4 years in New England, and went to the Pro Bowl. Like I said, out of the 16 years that I played, I ended up in the Pro Bowl 5 years out of the 16. And when I retired, I had like 10,300 some yards, 76 touchdowns, 500, I think 530 some catches. 576 catches in that neighborhood. And so I used to tell everybody if they were throwing the ball the way they throwing it today, because there was many ball games that I played in, especially with the Rams, we might not throw the ball but 12 times a game. 12 times a game, you better hope you can catch 3 of them. And so I look at the games today, they throw the ball 60, 65, 70 times a game compared to when we played. Bob, you remember that, don't you?
I certainly do. Certainly they do. And actually, if they're throwing the ball the way they throw it now, instead of having the yardage of Harold here, he'd probably have about 11, 12 miles.
I tell you what, we like I look at the ones that I caught, but it was always a penalty that brought it back. And you saw, like I said, the way the rules now, those catches, those penalties that we got would have been good for us. But unfortunately, we didn't have that luck.
I'm reading through some comments real quick, and right away people are saying, Harold, you should be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Well, like I said, I get email every day that I sign and send back to the big kids and grown folks and everybody else. And that's the first thing they always say, why you not in the NFL Hall of Fame? Because with the stats that you have, and they look at some of the guys that's in the NFL Hall of Fame do not have the stats that I have. But yet and still, but I guess I didn't get to the Super Bowl, and that's the problem.
Well, Harold, you're going to get in. You will definitely you'll get in. We just want you to get in before you're dead.
Hey, that's what I'm hoping I get in before I die.
We'd like to see you up on that stage.
Yep. Hey, I was talking to one of my roommates that's going in this year, Harold Carmichael, and he and I was roommates at Philadelphia, and I went in the HBC Hall of Fame before he did, and he's going in the NFL Hall of Fame before me. So I told him, I said, well, I'll let you do this, hey, we hope next year something come up and hey, I get on that list. We hoping so.
Awesome. Thank you, Harold. Thank you. Now, we came together here, and Reggie Grant told me, he said, Jim, we got to stick to this, man. We got a message we got to get out. So I'm going to turn it over here to Uncle Bob. And Uncle Bob, take it away. Explain to everybody why we're here today.
Well, I'm going to be truthful here. We're here because we love Jim. No, you're here because we are all friends, and I'm a big Packer fan. Mark Murphy and I, even though Mark is a bit younger than I am, Mark and I are really good friends, and Green Bay is one of the teams that because of their consistency over the years, and because they're owned by the people, it is one of the teams that I have rooted for down through the years. And there are a few other teams around that I like now. I'm not just a bandwagoner, but even though I played for the Baltimore Colts, I like the Ravens. I like Kansas City, and I think that the Raiders. I think that the Raiders and Tampa Bay are not far off. If they put just a few more good players together, it's going to be an entirely new sort of game that we're looking at here. This season, we're assuming that they're going to film the games with no one in the stands. If they have to do that, that's better than no games at all, because America needs the distraction that professional football has become for everyone here. It's Sunday is a holiday because of the NFL throughout America and in many different parts of the world. So we're hoping that things work out to feel really good. Harold was saying earlier that the way they play the game today is a little different from the way that we play with the Players Congress. And I hope that everyone will go to playerscongress.com. They're going to be directly in your face when you get there. Purchase, one or two or more of our new T-shirt line.
20, we're okay with it. Right? 20, 30, we don't care.
They're $21.99, but we've got them going up now for $18.99, I think, Reggie.
Yes, sir.
But this is shirt one series. This kind of thing isn't allowed today. But as Harold said, back during the time that we played, this is the way that we played the ball. So if someone
was football. When football was football.
Was WUZZ. When football was football. And we appreciate purchase that anyone like you makes. It helps us in our mission, as I said, to help retired players and the communities and serving charities in the communities that we live in there. So there are 4 shirts. They are doing really, really, they go well. And we have them up since we just released them about a month ago. And with the shutdown and everything, we are a little late. Jim is going to have them up on the website for us. But once again, go to playerscongress.com, everyone, please. Look at the shirts. It's a fun shirt. It's a throwback shirt. And grab yourself a couple of them there.
Well,
Reggie?
I think something we can talk about as well is, like you had mentioned early on, that a lot of these proceeds go to help the players that actually played this game, because if I remember correctly, last time we talked, they don't make the kind of income that these NFL players make today. So
You heard what Harold said. Harold was rich. He was making $16,000.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Jim. I really thank Bob and them for inviting me on the board with them, because this is something well overdue, because there are so many our players that didn't really make no money, and what we're trying to do is help generate something to give those guys. And it's a shame that the NFL do not reach back, with the money that they're paying these guys. All they got to do is put 1% of the kid or whatever, and these guys can survive. Now, I'm not, I was fortunate. I was fortunate enough to make a few dollars that kind of, wasn't in that category. I'm not saying that I'm rich, but I have a comfortable life that I live. Football did for me. And I wished I could help a lot of these guys here that don't have that luxury. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to generate money to try to help those families.
And we do have a lot of guys, names that you would recognize. Many of them have passed on, but part of our organization are our widows.
We help families behind.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, it'll be a great help to us if you folks who are watching pick up a few of your shirts, because we have checks that are going out to the widows who are members of the Retired NFL Players Congress over the next 2 weeks. They don't have to do anything. They just get their checks annually, for being a member. So retired players can be members, but we have business partners also, but we have widows that are members as well. So we try to look out for them. Hopefully the schools will be opening back up soon, because we have a couple of programs that are in the inner city schools. We have one program, Goals for Life, that we work with, that's been in the LA, Los Angeles school districts. And we have taken through with players being with them every week, serving as mentors and advisors, and discussing with them goals for life and drug avoidance and things like that. We have run over 30,000 kids through that program now. I would say that we work for our money. We don't beg anyone for any money. The NFL does not fund us. The NFL funds the alumni, which I belong to also. Harold and I were there when we formed the alumni as well. But the alumni is funded by the owners, primarily. They do some stuff, but their money comes from the owners, really. And with the former players who are associated with the union, both Harold and I belong to that as well. We were there the first year of the union. They are funded by the union. All of them are nonprofit. We are for-profit. So we believe in doing for self.
it's funny, football players these days, and that's why I like these T-shirts so much, is back in the day, these guys played through injuries. Now somebody can stub their toe and they're carted off the field, And so you have to appreciate, you guys laid your bodies out there on the line. You took a beating without the pay because you guys did it for the passion, not for the money.
And Harold, you were a player that played how many consecutive games?
Hey, I played 16 years and never missed a ball game. Now I could have, what I would say like that. I can't go because I got a sprained toe. Because I look at some of these guys have a little hangnail, but they can't go. See, but hey, we enjoyed the game to the point where we wanted to be on the field, and we just played for the fans. Cause like I said, when I played, I used to tell my hometown when I played on Monday Night Football, I used to tell Howard Cosell and Danny Dunn and Dan Murray. I used to tell them, say, hey, in Hattiesburg for the next 3 hours, there would be no crime. The police don't have to work for 3 hours because they watching me. Hey, because they watching me on TV. So, but I enjoyed the game because, like I said, we wasn't making that kind of money, but I enjoyed playing because I played for the fans.
But Harold, you just put your arm up a little bit, and when you just put it up, I promise you, it looks like you could go out there and play right now. You're still in shape. Your arms look massive, like you could go out there and catch that ball anytime again.
Jim, Jim, I can go out there and be an all-pro right now, 30 yards behind the bench. And that might be too close. But like I said, the way they play today, they protecting the players. I understand, the way they protected them. And because like I said, Bob know back during the time when we played, everything went. Clothesline, hey, cut you at the line, beat you all the way down the field. You got 11 guys on the team. All 11 guys can hit you down the field. But now, like I said, once you get by that 5 yard, don't get me wrong. My last 5 years in the league, I had a chance to play in that. After 5 yards, they can't touch you. I was very fortunate to play in that my last 5 years.
Hey, well, I'll tell you in Baltimore, the referees didn't even bother to bring flags to some of the games. They weren't going to be any penalties. You just went out there and you played for 60 minutes.
There you go. But like I said, we enjoyed the game and it was fun because we wasn't getting paid for it. We just went out and had fun because, like I said, $16,500 and Uncle Sam took half of that.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't making no money, but we enjoyed playing the game.
I've got a story for you, Jim, about the way that we played then. Art Donovan said it happened to him, but it certainly happened to me. We were playing in Baltimore, and it was a foggy day too. And I don't remember if we were playing the Vikings or we were playing somebody. But quarterback, maybe it was Joe Gap at the time. He dropped back and he threw the ball. And I had started around on a blitz, and I was when he released the ball, I was probably 12 yards away from him. And he threw the ball, and he was just, standing there after he threw it. I still had 12 yards to go, but I thought, oh, what the heck, we're in Baltimore. It's not. I just kept going and hit him. And hit him think you're good. And one of the referees looked over at me and he says, okay, Grant, getting close. Getting real close like you're there, next time. But now you can't even breathe on them. Back then, we mauled quarterbacks, back then. Any quarterback who could play a full season without getting hurt was an anomaly.
That's when football was football.
I was just about ready to say that. I think you should show those shirts again because I think they're incredible, man. The hits that you guys put on there on those shirts, that's such a great graphic, and there is one in there that's green and yellow, just so everybody knows as well.
So take a look at this one. This is one of the 4. We have 4 that are available right now, series 1 of 4. So this is shirt 2. Then we have shirt 3. And we have shirt 4. So there's 4 different images that are available right now. And again, you can find it on Jim's site. He will send you a link with playerscare.com. And here's number 1 again.
Number 1 is our best seller right now.
That's my shirt there.
That's
in the mail today, baby. In the mail today.
Hey, folks, and it's not even a $20 bill. It's not even just $18.99 right now.
Well, I tell you, some of those families that we're working with will love it, because like I said, you look back and look at some of the families that just barely surviving. and we're trying to do what we can to help them.
But not only go and grab up all the shirts that you can, but guys, go take a look at the jackets as well. I have a couple of the jackets. The jackets are incredible. You need to, you know, we're in summer right now, but you do got to get ready for winter coming up. So grab some T-shirts, grab some jackets, and that's not a request. That's an order, right, Harold?
That's it. We need it bad.
Well, yeah. And also, Jim, you've seen like this. We have this beauty. We have all the Green Bay stuff, but this is one of our special orders. And there's something that's very unique about this particular series. This is our signature line. Made in America, completely, totally at our 2,500 square foot facility here, in Los Angeles.
I've never.
This jacket was autographed by Marv Fleming, personally, definitely a collector's item.
I've never heard of that.
And we have, Harold Jackson has his autographed jackets, and we have Gino Marchetti, we have Rosie Greer, we have Mike Haynes. We have everyone. If there's someone who's not in the program right now, if someone is interested in it, just get in touch with us, and we will get that. We'll get that done for you. It's a Willie Brown one over there.
Dave Robinson.
Yeah, Dave is in. Yeah, Dave has an autographed jacket there, and Willie Brown has passed on, but Willie left us a few patches, and a big portion of this jacket. Even though Willie is no longer with us, Raider great. With any of these, these jackets that sell a real good piece of the price will go to Willie's family.
They're incredible jackets. I have a Marv Fleming one. Uncle Bob sent me that, and Marv sent me that, and I tell you, they're incredible jackets. But Marv gives me a hard time because I won't put it on. It's a collector. I won't put it on. My kids fight over it. They want me to pass away just so they could have my memorabilia.
Hey, Jim, Marv gives everybody a hard time about everything. You know that.
I love Marv.
I was getting ready to say that Marv gets on everybody's case.
Hey.
I'm going to have to go look at the Harold Jackson jackets, though. Because I'm a collector of football, just not the Packers. I was explaining to Reggie, I was a big Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson fan growing up. So I don't limit myself just to the Green Bay Packers, even though they are in my blood.
Well,
we'll hold that against you.
Jim, you know what? Joe Namath and I had an opportunity to play with each other his last 8 games of the season. He came to the Rams, and I caught his last touchdown pass.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I didn't know that.
Joe Willie.
I did not know
last
that.
touchdown. Yep.
Well, not many people know. I've shared it just a little bit, but as a young kid, I was a Rams fan originally. And then my grandfather got to me and got a hold of me about the Packers. That changed my life. But I was originally a little.
We won't hold that against you, though. We will not hold that against you.
Reggie's showing us more of the jacket there. That jacket there is incredible. I love that one.
This is one of the standard Green Bay Packer jackets. Very nice. They come in wool, poly 12. Nice jacket, man. We do some world-class stuff. We do make most of the NFL jackets you see in the marketplace right here in the USA, and we import a little bit, but most of it we make right here downstairs below our offices in Los Angeles, California.
Same with all the T-shirts made there as well, right?
I'm sorry, repeat that, Jim?
All the T-shirts are made there as well?
Yes, we do absolutely everything here. As a matter of fact, I think we have the capability of T-shirts and hoodies, silkscreen. We can run right at 100,000 of them per day.
Okay. So my people need to get busy is what you're saying.
I'm telling you. If you don't have one of these shirts, we'll be releasing the second series of pictures as soon as the season starts. There will be 6 pictures in that series, and we will probably release after that 4 to 6 pictures every quarter until we get up to around 100 shirts. And this is one of the hoodies that we do here that Reggie's got here, but all of our work is done here.
The man who made the game.
That's such a true fact, and it's such a great tradition that people need to understand the importance of Retired Players Congress. That's why, Marv reached out to me back in Chicago one day, and he said, you got to take a look at Retired Players Congress. He explained everything to me, and ever since then, man, I've been a big fan of you guys, and I love the cause that you're doing. And you got all the greats. You got Harold. You got all the greats.
Yeah, most of the guys, we have a lot of guys that everybody whose name everyone would recognize who are a part up front of the retired Congress. Hey, Jim, can I interject something? A person asked me a question.
Yes.
About 2 weeks back. And I was telling them, and they were asking me about players who I thought could play in any era, and players who were not only were they talented, they were tough, but players who could have played multiple positions.
Oh.
And they were asking me about the Packers. And I know that there'll be, some people who, younger fans, perhaps who won't grasp it at all. Dave Robinson out of Penn State could have played just about any position and been an all-star with the Packers in the NFL on offense or defense. Ray Nitschke was a guy who could have played multiple positions there. Not only was he tough, he was talented. Paul Hornung was a tremendous athlete and could have played a number of positions, but Jim could have played any damn position on the damn field with the exception of quarterback, perhaps. And there are guys that are scattered around the league like that who are recognized as greats, but I don't think that people really know how great some of those guys really, really were. But of those guys that I just named, those are guys who could have played any one of 4 or 5 different positions on the team and made All-Pro at those positions.
Let me throw one in there that just came when you started talking about that. I started thinking, let me throw a name at you and see what you think in regards to that. Maybe Harold, Reggie, you could jump in with one as well. But one that comes to my mind is maybe Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
No, I was just saying with Green Bay.
Oh, with Green Bay. Okay, but I'm talking all around other players as well. I'm thinking Ray Lewis, but I agree with you with Ray, Dave, and Paul.
Yeah, Ray Lewis was one of those guys, and the Terrell Suggs, he was one of those guys. He could have played any number of positions there. There were a number of guys. Joe Kapp from the Vikings. Joe was one of those guys. He could have played any number. Lonnie Warwick, who was a linebacker, Lonnie could have played any number of positions. And we're going way back, but they've been Donnie Anderson from the Packers was a real athlete. Donnie could have played any number of it. Donnie could have played a little safety if he really had to. He could have played a little receiver if he had to. He could have played more positions than Grabowski could have played. But it's kind of funny when you think about guys who were just flat out athletes, like Mike Curtis, that crew. Dick Butkus could have played a number of positions, but not as many as some of the other guys could have played. There were some players, and I'm going to give you, and then I'll stop. One of the greatest linebackers of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he was a small linebacker. I don't think that I ever saw a linebacker who was, besides him, who was absolutely never, ever out of position. He was in, and that is why he was so good, being as small as he was. He was a very intelligent, ball player. He hit people intelligent. He knew how to use, the proper leverage. And he was a very smart guy, but he was a very intelligent guy. Chris Hammer from the Washington Redskins. If, Ted Hendricks, Ted was one heck of a linebacker like himself. But if I had to pick one outside linebacker that wasn't going to miss a game, that wasn't going to make mistakes, and I was trying to put together a Super Bowl team, Chris, I think, would be at his body weight, 205. Even today, I think that Chris would be the first outside linebacker that I would pick. I'd pick him ahead of me.
Reggie, you got anything that you want to throw in the mix there?
Oh, I'm just a part of, I just work for Uncle Bob, and I was happy to be sitting next to him and have the opportunity to be in the room. Harold again, should be in the Hall of Fame and will be in the Hall of Fame. And I just come in every day and try to absorb a little bit and learn a little bit more and add a little value to what they're doing. And again, for us, it's about being self-sufficient, being responsible for making our own money, being in partnership with the NFL owners by having the ability to generate our own revenue and make a positive impact to some of the players and their families and wives and widows. And again, we just want to make a positive impact. Go out and buy your shirt today. And again, Jim will be putting that on the website. You can click on the link, and we would love to have your support. And thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely.
He won't tell. I've got a Reggie Grant story for you. It's a real quick one. Make you at one of the stadiums, they're still looking for Reggie Grant. Reggie is bad pay, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm not exaggerating. Reggie actually ran through a brick wall, knocked it down, a brick wall, honestly. And he never paid him for rebuilding that. Where was that?
That was at the University of Oregon at Autzen Stadium. I didn't go back for 30 years because they wanted to get paid for the wall that I knocked down.
So that's where the money
that was an adventure.
going. Is that
again,
where money from the shirts is going? To pay back?
Oh, we'll have to come up with that one. I have the pictures now.
Well, that's a true story. I mean, he really and truly did. Hey, Harold, do you remember over in Chicago?
Harold cut off. Maybe he lost internet connection or something, but he actually fell off of this connection for some reason. So he's not with us.
He'll probably come back on. Another brick wall story, for you. At Wrigley Field, when we used to play the Bears, they played over at Soldiers Lake sometimes, so most of the time. Wrigley. Most of the time we play at Wrigley. And down at the end of the field at Wrigley, I mean, right at the back of the end zone there, you didn't have time to do a lot of stopping. There was a brick wall that was covered in ivy. I can't tell you how many people we tried to push in who scored that we pushed into that brick wall after they had scored, down there. So when you were going that way, nobody really wants to score a touchdown and go into the end zone with the ball because there's a good chance that somebody's going to take you into that wall.
Harold just joined us again. I don't know if he could hear us or we could hear you, Harold, but Uncle Bob's telling stories about you again.
Hey, Harold, do you remember in Wrigley, with the Bears, they used to play over at Wrigley, not Soldiers, that brick wall that they had down at the end of the end zone with that ivy on it?
I think you got it muted, Harold. Your microphone.
Mel, we can't hear you. You're muted. Oh, well. But, that's, Jim, we always enjoy being with you, man. Yeah, have us on more often.
Hey, anytime you guys want to, anytime. You bring great people to the table, so anytime you want to, you guys just let me know. I do want to say thank you guys, and I have been putting the link on this thread, and I will be putting that link throughout this next week. And I endorse these T-shirts 1,000,000%, and I'm gonna hold you to it. Send me a T-shirt, Uncle Bob.
No, we're gonna send you a set. We're gonna
All
send
right.
you a full.
All
We're gonna
right.
send you a full set.
But anything I could do at any point to help promote Players Congress or anything like that, I'm more than willing to do. I think what you guys are doing is incredible. So I'm gonna thank you, Harold. I know you probably can't. He's still muted, but I'm gonna thank Harold. Make sure you thank him for me. Reggie Grant, I think you're incredible. Thank you, man. Let us know when your book comes out, and we'll do some promotion for your book as well. Everybody, Reggie Grant is an author, and so we're going to help him with his book sales. And then Uncle Bob, I think you're incredible as always, man, and I sure appreciate you. And so I need one of you guys to finish this up, how we do it in my group. There's 3 simple words that I need somebody to say for me. Starts with a go, it ends with a go. If one of you guys could throw that out there for me, we could end this and we could get some.
That wouldn't be Packers
Go green and gold.
Go Pack Go, as always, guys. So
Go Pack Go. We'll see you next month.
absolutely.
And like I say, they will. I don't know how far they're going, like your Jim, but I'm gonna pull a Joe name and pick you now. I guarantee you that if we have a season, this year, and I believe that we will, I guarantee you that the Packers will make the playoffs.
Hey, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Guarantee you they'll make it.
All right. Well, Reggie, get with me. We'll line up another live, man. I know you guys always get these great football players go live with us. We'll start getting some T-shirt sales. And I thank you guys very much. And I hope that you guys are staying safe down there.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
Appreciate you, Jim.
Good
All right.
night.
Take care. Good night.